People with injuries much smaller than you are often getting bigger payouts in accident claims. So in this video, I'm going to reveal why your serious injuries often won't get you a big payout, why people less injured than you are often easily getting more money, and how much money people less injured than you are actually getting paid. So why won't your injuries automatically get you a big payout? To explain, let's look at Scott's real case. Scott was cruising down the sunny streets of Miami on a motorcycle. Now, even though he was on a motorcycle, this story equally applies to people who are in cars. A car was heading in the opposite direction of Scott. The driver of the car made a left-hand turn in front of Scott and cut him off. Scott flew off his motorcycle and his leg struck the pavement. He had horrible pain in his leg. An ambulance rushed Scott to the hospital, and then the doctor gave Scott some bad news. His leg was broken and he'd need surgery. So the surgeon drilled the plate and screws into Scott's leg. Just like you, Scott had seen ads on the TV and billboards showing people smiling who had gotten hundreds of thousands of dollars for their cases. And in these ads, these victims didn't have any visible injuries. So surely Scott thought he was going to get a big payday. Allstate insured the other driver. Scott hired me as his lawyer so I could protect his rights. He was happy that Allstate was listed as the other driver's insurance company on the crash report. He'd seen Allstate ads on TV since he was a kid, and he knew that they were a solid insurance company. So I sent Allstate a letter to find out how much insurance the other driver had. And then we got some bad news. The driver only had $10,000 in bodily injury liability coverage. And that's one of the biggest reasons why your injuries often won't get you a big settlement. Most drivers have the state minimum in liability coverage, and it ain't much money at all. So how are people less injured than you often getting more money? To explain, let's look at Ray's case. Ray had a similar accident to Scott. Ray was driving down the street in his car when a van was heading in the opposite direction. The van made a left-hand turn and Ray's car struck the front of it. But unlike Scott, Ray didn't take an ambulance to the hospital. His pain wasn't terrible. He had back pain and someone he knew drove him to the ER that same day. He had a small fracture to one of the bones in his spine, so they checked him in to keep an eye on it. After monitoring Ray for several days at the hospital, they determined that he did not need surgery. So they let Ray go on and he went on his merry way. He went to the doctor to make sure that his spine was okay, which it generally was. Ray followed up with his doctor and had an injection to his back. Without a doubt, Ray's injury was much less serious than Scott's. This is true even though Ray spent a few more days in the hospital than Scott. After all, Scott had a rod and screws drilled into his leg. Now here's the shocker. We settled Ray's case for $260,000. That's 26 times the amount of Scott's $10,000 payout. But how do we do this? One reason is because in Ray's case, the driver of the van who hit him had a big insurance policy. He didn't have a small $10,000 limit like in Scott's case. So are less injured people always getting paid more than you? No, of course not. But here's the thing. I just gave you one reason why people who are less injured than you are often getting bigger payouts. There are many other reasons why it happens, and you still have a big problem. Even if the other driver or person who caused your injury has plenty of insurance, it does not mean that you're going to get paid. You still need to take just one easy and fast step that may get you a monster payout. I reveal what this proven tactic is in the video that's on screen now and in the link in the description below, so watch it right now. And if you've been seriously injured in an accident in Florida or on a cruise and someone else is at fault, click the link in the description below to see if I could be the lawyer for you.